A suffocating stillness enveloped Ashenfield, a secluded Northumberland village, its stone cottages dwarfed by the brooding moors in 2024. Whispers of dread lingered in the air, centered on a chilling warning. She stood at the end of my bed. This terror stemmed from Margaret Vale, a 19th century nurse whose spectral form haunted the night. The story begins with Helen Marsh, a 37-year-old seamstress who awoke to see a figure at her bedside last month. 3 days later, she returned home, eyes hollow, and strangled her husband and son with a scarf before vanishing. She called me to join her, she'd murmured. The village recoiled, for this was the third such nightmare in weeks. Liam Grayson, a 33-year-old podcaster with a thriving YouTube channel, H's horror story had long been captivated by the supernatural. His immersive storytelling had garnered a dedicated audience, and he'd convinced his friend Ethan Brooks, a 31-year-old audio technician, to join him. This could be huge for HS Horror Story, Liam said, setting up his microphone in their rented cottage, its windows shuttered tight. Ethan adjusted his recorder, uneasy. Or another dead end like that haunted chapel. But the shaky video of Helen's rampage, fabric-streaked and frantic, shifted his stance. 3 days then they kill, Liam noted, charting the pattern. 5 missing, 3 returned as killers, 2 still lost, Helen Marsh and Thomas Gray. The curse traced to 1867, when Margaret Vale, a 29-year-old nurse at Ashenfield Sanatorium, tended to plague victims. Accused of witchcraft after patients died under her care, later revealed as poisoning by a jealous colleague, she was murdered by a mob and buried in the sanatorium cellar. Her dying vow to return and claim companions fueled the legend. She appears at midnight, luring you to her fate. Old Mr. Harold Tate warned at the inn, those who see her never escape. Liam and Ethan arrived in Ashenfield as dusk fell, the village cloaked in fog. Lights dim Let's record for HS Horror Story, Liam whispered, his voice steady despite the chill. Ethan set up the gear. Feels like we're not alone. They chose a cottage with a history of sightings, its bed the focal point. At 11:55 p.m., Liam lay down, camera rolling. We'll catch her. At midnight, a shadow loomed at the foot of the bed. Margaret, in a tattered nurse's uniform, her face gaunt, eyes black pits, stared silently. Join me, she rasped. Liam froze, the camera capturing her image. Ethan pulled him up. Don't look. The room iced over and Margaret vanished, leaving a faint scent of antiseptic. Did you get that? Liam gasped, reviewing the footage. Margaret's face was stark, her gaze piercing. Comments on HS Horror Story poured in. Flee, but Liam felt drawn. We need to check Thomas's family, they're next. Thomas Gray, a 40-year-old carpenter, had vanished 2 days ago. His sister Lucy met them at her home, voice breaking. He saw her at midnight, said she promised peace. Now he's gone. Liam vowed to help. Lucy recalled Thomas's last call. A woman's waiting. Liam's pulse quickened. Margaret? Ashenfield thrummed with fear. She takes them 3 days, then they kill, a baker muttered. Liam researched the 1867 tragedy, Margaret's murder, the sanatorium's closure, and a ledger hinting at a sealed ward. She wants her patients back, Ethan theorized. The investigation loomed large, the village's recent horrors painted a grim tableau. Helen Marsh's rampage had left her home a blood-soaked ruin, her scarf knotted around her husband's neck. Neighbors spoke of her return stumbling, muttering about a nurse's call before the screams erupted. 2 days later, James Carter, a 34-year-old grocer, followed suit, his kitchen a massacre with a cleaver. He said Margaret offered salvation, a friend recalled. The third, Rachel Dunn, a 38-year-old teacher, poisoned her parents with laudanum. Her final words a hollow, "She needs me." Each had seen Margaret at midnight, their absences lasting 3 days before their deadly returns. Liam interviewed Lucy about Thomas. He'd been sleepless, talking about Gran's death since last winter, Lucy said. That night, he texted me. At 11:58 p.m., she's here, then silence. The pattern held. A lure, a disappearance, a murderous return. Paul Evans, a 36-year-old fisherman, remained missing, his boat found abandoned. He looked at her too. His wife wept. The village elders recounted Margaret's tale, her spirit tied to the sanatorium's ruins where she'd been buried. She seeks souls to tend, Mrs. Tate said, her voice laced with sorrow. Liam and Ethan dug through records, finding an 1867 coroner's report of Margaret's death, marked unholy. A sketch depicted her at the sanatorium, syringe in hand, cursing her killers. She's bound by a ritual, Liam deduced. That night, they set up cameras at Lucy's house, awaiting midnight. At the stroke of the hour, a figure appeared at Thomas's bed. There, Ethan pointed. Margaret's form loomed, her voice a whisper, "Come with me." The glass fogged, and Thomas's shadow flickered outside. "She's back," Liam said, heart pounding. The feed cut, plunging them into darkness. Driven to confront Margaret, Liam and Ethan returned to their cottage, rigging it with infrared sensors. "We'll face her at midnight," Liam insisted. Ethan protested, "This is reckless." But at 11:55 p.m., the sensors beeped. Liam lay on the bed, camera rolling for Etch's horror story. "Let's see her." At midnight, Margaret appeared, her uniform stained, eyes boring into his. "You're mine," she hissed. A vision struck Liam in a plague ward, Margaret tending him. He reeled, the room tilting. Ethan dragged him off, but the bed frame buckled. Wood splintering. Margaret's form solidified, her hands outstretched. "Join my ward," she wailed. The cottage trembled, shadows of sick beds forming. Ethan threw salt, but it passed through her. "Run," he yelled. They fled to the moors, Margaret's laughter trailing. At dawn, Liam's leg bore a green scar, throbbing. "She's marking me," he groaned. The footage showed Margaret's assault, racking up views on HS Horror Story. "Get out!" Liam felt her pull deepen. "We need to find that sanatorium." That night, Thomas returned to Lucy's house, eyes vacant, a hammer in hand. "The family!" he shrieked. Liam and Ethan arrived, tackling him as he swung at Lucy. "It's not him," Liam cried. Margaret's voice echoed through Thomas. "They abandoned me, now I take theirs." The struggle dragged on, Thomas collapsing as dawn broke, freed but broken. "She's gaining power," Ethan said. The village reported more sightings, the curse spreading. Liam's research led to the sanatorium, a mile from the village. Locals shunned it, claiming it pulsed with energy at midnight. Mrs. Tate revealed a dark truth. Her ancestor, Dr. Samuel Vale, had bound Margaret's spirit with a blood ritual after her murder, using the cellar to trap her vengeance. He feared her curse would ruin his name, she admitted. A hidden ledger found in the church crypt detailed the rite, Margaret's blood mixed with opium, her spirit tethered to the beds. "We need to break it," Liam said at the sanatorium, overgrown with ivy bore faded wards on its walls. At dusk, they explored, finding a sealed cellar with Margaret's nurse cap, inscribed with her initials. "This is the key," Ethan said. A vision hit Liam, his great-aunt, a veil, at the ritual, binding Margaret. "I'm linked to this," he realized. The floor quaked, Margaret's voice rising. "You can't free me." They fled, the caps weighed a curse. Liam contacted Ms. Eleanor Finch, a local healer. "The binding requires her cap returned with opium and a confession," Finch explained. They planned a midnight ritual at the cellar. That night, Paul Evans returned, eyes black, wielding a fishing net. "The family," he roared. Liam and Ethan intercepted. Him at his wife's home, subduing him as Finch chanted. The cap glowed, Margaret's form appearing. Confess the Vale's sin, Finch demanded. Liam, trembling, recited the murder. The cellar flooded with mist, opium burned, and Margaret's scream rent the air. Paul collapsed, freed, but her presence lingered. The ritual weakened Margaret, her form dissipating as the cap sank into the earth. Liam, scarred but alive, vowed to watch Ashenfield. The curse is lifted, but she's not gone, Finch warned. The village breathed easier, yet beds remained a source of unease. Tune N4. More every day on HS Horror Stories. Subscribe and share.